Chapter 05 Taoist priest Ma seeks the magic item. Ma Wuling had wanted to go to Zhang Jiaohua's house to make money, but he didn't expect that he himself would end up suffering at the hands of and lose to that beggar fellow. He touched his sleeves, those bad luck ghosts, even the sutra passed down by the founder was lost. That magic item was also lost, but since it was just used to pay respects to his dead founder who had passed down the bell, so he also didn't pay attention. This sutra nevertheless was actually an important object, although amongst the Taoist magic inside the sutra, he had mastered not even 1 or 2 out of the 10. However, this thing was used as a proof of his identity. As for that compass, it was also not anything important. He had found it in the house of an old landlord, and hid it in the ground. Later, when the matter had settled down, he had appropriated it for himself. Ma Wuling wasn't the least bit assured in dealing with them, especially recalling that last axe that flew towards him. A chill ran down his spine. His little life had all but ended. However, he would still have to ask that beggar fellow. Not only did he lose to that beggar fellow, he even lost that sutra. Deceased founder had earlier said that losing the sutra is tantamount to losing Tao ability. Every time Ma Wuling drew a talisman, each stroke would be made by copying from the sutra. Now after losing the sutra, he was left completely blind. The events of just now had emphasized that scary appearance of Zhang Jiaohua, and now wanting to go there and take back a thing from that beggar fellow, would probably not be easy. Ma Wuling, after much deliberation, decided to act against Zhang Jiaohua's family. Therefore, he didn't go straight to Zhang Jiaohua's house, rather he went to Zhang Jiaohua's old house. Zhang Jiaohua's grandparents lived in the old house. The elderly feared the gods and spirits, and naturally would fear these, dressing up as God, playing the devil, people like Ma Wuling. Seeing Ma Wuling come to their house, they were indeed very respectful. Taoist priest: Ma, you don't visit often. Please sit down quickly, please sit down quickly. Old woman: still haven't hurriedly gone to catch a chicken to butcher yet. Zhang Jiaohua's grandfather was very enthusiastic. No need, no need. We are fellow villagers sharing the same hometown. Eating a simple homemade dish can be done whenever convenient. Uncle Mannion, me coming to your house, you should know the reason, right? Ma Wuling pretended to be mysterious. Zhang Jiaohua's grandfather was named Zhang Mannion. Could it be you are? Zhang Mannion reacted all of a sudden. Correct. When I walked past the gate of your family's second son's home, I felt a very heavy negative chi coming from his home. I also heard about your grandson's matter. We all are fellow villagers, and I am the one to fulfill this role. When ghosts and evil spirits begin making mischief, I have no option but to deal with them. Ma Wuling said with a strong air of righteousness. If it were not for the magic staff being lost in Zhang Jiaohua's home, at this time the magic staff would have been heavily pounded onto the clay flooring, and the effect would have been even greater. Ma Wuling was feeling somewhat regretful in his heart. Zhang Mannion was moved beyond words. Taoist priest Ma, you really are a good person. Sweat emerged on Taoist priest Ma's forehead. In Maixiao there were many people who were afraid of him, but those who said he was a good person were very few. An old hen of Zhang Mannion's house was nevertheless slaughtered. Usually, when a chicken is slaughtered, one bowl is delivered to the house of both the 2 children. Also, every delicious thing was sent over by the 2 grandparents. The both of them had plenty of opportunities to drink soup. This time due to Taoist priest Ma coming, Zhang Mannion's woman and Zhang Jiaohua's grandma Ma Donghua didn't separate the soup into 2 portions. Taoist priest Ma's belly was already making gurgling sounds out of starvation. Smelling the fragrance of chicken, he couldn't help but drool. Uncle Yinshu, you really are too attentive. The table manners of Taoist priest Ma didn't have the makings of a person of high skill. In front of the fragrant chicken meat, all the temperament of an expert were kept to one side. Eating to one's full, and drinking to one's limit was the top Priority. Taoist priest Ma, how should the matter of second child's family be solved? Zhang Manyan himself wasn't too willing to partake in the big bowl full of chicken meat. 4. Fear that this honored guest wouldn't be able to eat to his satisfaction. This depends on your family's second child's own decision. Taoist priest Ma spoke slowly with a stuffed mouth, in vague terms. The key is this son of mine, right? This is not Taishang's concern. I had already told him to invite Taoist priest Ma. He has all along been evading it. Zhang Manyan frowned tightly, while his eyes stared at Taoist priest Ma, hoping that Taoist priest would have some great idea. Perhaps this Taoist priest Ma, after eating and drinking to his full, would directly go to second child's house, and grab those several little ghosts. Taoist priest Ma had earlier himself thrown his helmet and abandoned his armor. How could he have any good ideas? He wanted to reach an understanding with those little ghosts to forgive and forget. He was content with getting back at that beggar fellow. He didn't think that he had the ability to deal with those few little ghosts. This matter is not simple. Today, when I had passed by from there, I had just intended to scout things out, because I was worried about alarming those little ghosts. I left behind the magic item in your second child's house. If I go over now, I am afraid that it will alarm those little ghosts. You had best call over your second child to come. Once I am able to get my magic item, then it will be easy. Taoist priest Ma said, rolling his eyes. Even such a shameful thing he was able to speak while sounding so pompous, was really a talented person. Zhang Manyan simply couldn't think that Ma Wuling could be helpless to that extent in front of the little demons. Instead, he thought that Taoist priest Ma had made some preparations in second child's house. He would naturally be very positive towards this request of Taoist priest Ma. However, on that day second child had made him lose face. Zhang Manyan didn't want to go over personally. Therefore, he made Ma Donghua carry out this task. The implementation of Ma Donghua's task was quite rough. While coming over, she was naturally seen by Zhang Jiaohua. Zhang Jiaohua's nose was quite effective. With one sniff he was able to smell the fragrance of chicken meat coming from Ma Donghua. Even more, he thought that Ma Donghua had come over to give him chicken meat to eat. Grandma, that chicken legs is not that tasty. I would rather eat chicken meat. Zhang Jiaohua immediately circled around Grandma, only to discover that Ma Donghua's both hands were empty. Ma Donghua looked somewhat panickedly at her grandson. Grandma has come to seek your father for some matter. Grandpa has some important business with your father, child. Don't make trouble. Grandma, don't be biased. Did you deliver the chicken meat to Uncle's house? Zhang Jiaohua was unhappy. Lu Qiroye had long ago heard her mother-in-law's conversation with her son. She was deliberately hiding at one side, wanting to hear what was the matter. This child, what are you saying? This time the chicken butchered by Grandma wasn't enough to give you a share. This time, an important guest had come to the house, whose share couldn't be taken away. Don't make trouble. Grandma is looking for your parents for some urgent matter. Ma Donghua was becoming flustered upon being entangled with her grandson. Only then Lu Qiroye walked out. Mother, you've come. I had to go to let out water in the fields. Immediately came back. You come sit down in the room. I'll get some water for you. No need. I am not thirsty. I have come to my son's house, not come as a guest. If I were thirsty, wouldn't I just find the water jar? Jiaohua, you go out and play for a while. Grandma, must have some adult talk with your mother. Ma Donghua wanted Zhang Jiaohua to go away. If it were normal day, then Ma Donghua definitely wouldn't have been able to get Zhang Jiaohua to leave. Only, Zhang Jiaohua kept thinking about the chicken meat at Grandma's house. He was willing to obey Grandma's instructions, as he ran out of the gate vivaciously, directly going to Grandpa's house.